From your Chapter 14 folder, open the file Chapter 1409 Conduit. The Conduit tool is available in the Electrical panel on the Systems tab. When selected, from the Properties palette, we've got two different types of conduits, those with fittings and those without. There isn't a great deal of difference between the two of them, except that when drawn, the conduit without fittings doesn't actually show the break line between a straight run and a bend, which can come in handy if you want to show a nominal sub-main cable run. Like cable trays, conduits are not associated with the system, so to get around this, we can define under the Identity Data Service Type parameter the actual service that we're supplying with the conduit. We can define the diameter, its offset, and how it connects with other elements. Once selected, we can click in our drawing area and start placing our conduit run. Just as pipes and the cable trays, conduits are only shown in full detail if we see the view in fine level of detail. A nice tool specific to the use of conduits is the ability to actually draw them from a particular face of, say, a distribution board. Here, we can select a distribution board and right-click on one of the grips and select Draw Conduit from Face. Revit gives us a preview of that face and a small isometric in the top left-hand corner of the drawing area. We can select that connector and move it in relation to the face. We can select the temporary dimensions and accurately position this connector. Once complete, we can click on Finish Connection and then start creating our conduit. Let's try that again. Select a distribution board, right-click and draw conduit from face. Position the connector. If necessary, change the temporary dimensions. Once complete, click on Finish and then start creating the conduit. Notice the offset. The offset has been changed in relation to the distribution board's height from the floor level and the position on the face that we just created. Change the offset and carry on with your conduit run. Once complete, we may want to put a bank of conduits in here. Let's take a look at that process. From the View tab, create a callout. The callout wants to incorporate the distribution board and the conduits that we've just created. Double-click on the callout. Here we have a floor plan. It's called Callout of Containment System Level 1. Now we want a 3D view. Click on the default 3D view and right-click on the view cube. Here we're going to orient to a floor plan, which is the callout of Containment Systems Level 1, and spin the model to suit. Scrolling in, we want to be able to see our conduit. Let's take a look at the properties of the view. Change the discipline to electrical. Here we can see our conduit run. Back on the Systems tab, we have a tool to create parallel conduits. From here we can specify a horizontal number, let's say 1, and a vertical number, 4. The vertical number will offset these 150 and will give the conduit a concentric bend radius. Hovering over the conduit, we can begin to see how our spacing will work. I also have a suspicion that my vertical offset may be a bit too much, so let's change this to 100 and see what that route's going to look like. Press the Tab key to highlight the run. When you're happy with it, click the conduit. Here we've got a warning message. It says that no auto route solution was found. That's purely because these conduits aren't connected to the distribution board. But as these are non-systemized elements, I'm not too worried. When we've completed, we can change this to a fine level of detail, and maybe as a shaded view, to see how our completed system works. Let's take a look at that back in the plan view.